What's going on, guys? Welcome back, Leopazzo Productions. Thank you very much for tuning in. In today's video, we're going to be having a closer look at this Cammus C5. This is an all-in-one direct drive sim racing steering wheel and wheelbase all in one at an affordable price. So stick with me, guys. In today's video, we're gonna go ahead and unbox, see what comes included with the C5. We're gonna go ahead and set it up, install it. We're gonna be testing it out on some sim racing games. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna be giving you guys my overall thoughts and review of the C5. So first off, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the price of the C5 because it is only coming in at $249 USD. Again, you can go ahead and order directly from the Cammus Racing website, and it seems to be about approximately $100 off right now. And again, that is the steering wheel and the wheelbase and all the cables that you need. The only additional extra accessory that you may need is the base clamp or the desk clamp that's going to allow you to mount your steering wheel and wheelbase to your desk, which I've also purchased just to have something nice and easy to mount it to my desk for a nice compact setup. And that desk clamp is only an additional, I believe it was $29 USD. So I will like to mention on the Cammus Racing website, they do offer a combo with the C5 and a set of sim racing pedals for only an additional $50. So you're going to get the C5 and the pedals for $299 USD. And again, I'm assuming you're going to also need the desk clamp, which only is an additional $30 USD. So $330, all three pieces out the door, plus some shipping costs to your country depending on where you're located. So talking about shipping, it also kind of makes me think of the weight and the dimensions of the C5. So the dimensions, the diameter of the C5 from left to right, from top to bottom, is just under 11 inches, and it does weigh 3.6 kilograms. And I will say, from the front of the steering wheel all the way to the back of the wheelbase, it just comes in at about just over 2.5 inches. So hopefully the fact that it is small and compact and it's also not too heavy, it's going to keep those shipping costs down a little bit for us. So some other important specs about the C5, it is a direct drive with a servo motor at 5 Newton meters. Again, it kind of sounds like it's on the lower end, but I will tell you right off the bat from my experience, having the force feedback jacked up all the way up to 80% or 100% between the Cammus software app and also the game that you're playing, we're going to get some nice strong feedback out of this steering wheel and wheelbase. So let's have a closer look at the front of the C5 with the general appearance. You'll notice right off the bat the steering wheel does seem like it's wrapped in leather. I can't promise you if it actually is leather, but it definitely feels nice and durable and nice and strong. And you'll notice that we do have also this nice black stitching, which seems like it's well crafted and manufactured. At the top of the steering wheel, you'll notice that we have this little yellow ring around here at the top that lets you know that it is centered. Just nice and easy visual when you're playing the game. So next over here, you'll notice that we have this display screen over here. This is actually going to be displaying our speed, which is a nice feature that it's kind of built in. So right above the display screen, you'll notice that we do have these 10 LEDs over here. These LEDs are going to illuminate again when we're playing the game. It's going to show us our RPMs and when it's time to shift. Again, it's going to illuminate anywhere from, I believe the color was like a yellow and green and red. So it's going to be quite helpful in case you're looking at your steering wheel or whatnot. You're going to be able to get that information, again, your RPMs, when to shift, and along with your speed. So next, how can you not mention the carbon fiber plate that we have here on the front of the C5? It just looks really nice, and again, it has like a nice little chrome edge to it as well. So overall, the appearance does look pretty good. So next over here on the front of the C5, you'll notice that we have several different buttons that we can go ahead and program and assign via the game that we're playing. So once you've launched your game and you're ready to kind of program all your buttons over here, you can go ahead and assign each button to to whatever function you want it to do. For an example, I set some of my buttons, for an example, like my headlights, my horn. I can swivel my head left, I can swivel my head right, and also like a handbrake if you don't have a handbrake. I will mention, as far as positioning goes, they feel like they're well positioned, but I just don't feel like when I'm racing, I want to be pressing buttons or looking exactly where the buttons are. So it's nice to kind of only program the buttons and features that you really want to use and kind of just memorize where they are located and positioned, so you can kind of just really focus on driving. So I just kind of program majority of my buttons over here so my thumb can reach them when I'm playing, and overall it's been working out for me quite well. Over here at the bottom, we do have 3 rotary dials, and I believe each dial has about 12 indents as we rotate it. And again, we can also program these rotary dials via the game the same way that we can with the buttons over here. I think for the most part, we looked at everything at the front of the C5. I think right now, let's go ahead and have a look at the back of the C5. And the first thing that I'm going to be starting off over here with the back of the C5 are these little paddle shifters over here. So the one on my right hand side, I use that one to shift up, and the one on the left hand side, I'll be using that one to shift down. We can also program these and assign these in the game that we're playing, and when you do launch the Cammus software app, you can see that when you press the buttons or the rotary dials at the front or the paddle shifters here at the back of the C5, you can see that it's functioning once it's all connected. So as far as the paddle shifters go, you'll notice that they're actually pretty small in size. Originally I thought, you know what, that's kind of small and might be a little bit awkward. I'm not really used to having the paddle shifters that small, but at the end of the day, the steering wheel is small, the wheelbase is small, and by the time I grip it with my thumbs in here on the steering wheel, my fingers just kind of line up pretty much exactly where I need them to as far as the paddle shifters. But after setting it up and playing with it and actually using it and shifting, everything just kind of feels nice in regards to the paddle shift location and also the size. I don't really have much complaints as far as the paddle shifters. They are made out of metal. They do feel durable. They don't make any noise as far as clicking noise. So if you're ever playing and maybe someone in your household is sleeping or you want to keep quiet, as you use the paddle shifters, there's not going to be like a loud clicking noise. So next over here at the back of the C5, we do have some inputs and outputs. For an example, let's just start off with the power button right here at the top. So you just want to press and hold that for a few seconds and it's going to power on, and same goes for as far as powering it off. Just next to the power button, we actually do also have a reset button. So if I remember correctly, just in case you ever need to do a reset on the C5, from what I remember, what you need to do is actually just press the power button to turn off the C5. And now what you want to do is press and hold the reset button while you power it on. And what that's going to do is put it in some kind of like boot up mode or whatnot, a reset mode. The fans are going to kind of kick in, and therefore maybe you may need to kind of do like a software update that way. So next over here at the back of the C5, starting off on the left hand side, we do have the fan connector over here, which is going to be getting mounted into the desk clamp, the desk mount, and therefore from the desk mount, that is where the actual fan is located. It's in the desk clamp itself. So within that desk clamp, the fan is installed there, and it's going to be blowing in fresh air to the back over here of the C5. You'll notice here at the back base of the C5, there are some openings so it can kind of intake some fresh air and exhaust some hot air. So just next to the fan input, we do have a USB connection, which is going to allow us to plug in the C5 directly into our computer via USB. And again, obviously the cable's included. Just next to that, we do have the power input that's going to allow us to power it up. Again, the AC, DC, and adapter along with the cable is all included with the C5, so not to worry about cabling or any kind of extra accessories that you may need. We do have everything in the kit to start using it right off the bat, as far as connecting the fan, as far as connecting it to your computer, and as far as powering it on. Just underneath that, we do have 2 USB-C ports, and these USB-C ports can be used for installing or connecting your pedals, your handbrake, and also your shifter. So again, if you do have the Cammus handbrake or shifter shifter or pedals, we're going to be able to connect them right here at the back of the C5 via USB-C. So as far as looking at everything here at the back of the C5, I will also mention we do have 4 holes over here, 4 threads that's going to allow us to mount the C5 base again to our desk clamp. So we do have these 2 little brackets that are included. I'm going to show you these right now. So here we have the 2 metal brackets that's going to get installed at the back of the C5, so we can go ahead and mount it to our desk in the desk clamp. So again, you just want to use the screws that are provided along with the Allen key. You just want to go ahead and screw in this little metal bracket here to the back of the C5 via those 2 screw holes, and you want to do the exact same thing with the one over here onto the right hand side or the left hand side, and you're going to want to have the Cammus logo facing outwards, and that is basically how it's going to get installed, nice and easy and straightforward. So once you have these 2 brackets installed in the back of the C5, now it's ready to go ahead and slide into the desk mount. And now that it's slid into the desk mount, you can go ahead and now screw down the C5 with these brackets to the desk mount, and you're pretty much all ready to rock. So guys, now that you guys are a little bit more familiar with the C5, again, all the specs, the features, the dimensions, the weight, the front display screen, all the buttons, the leather wrapping, the paddle shifters, the inputs and outputs here that we have to power it, to connect it to our PC, the fan, the cooling, and being able to go ahead and mount it to our desk clamp, I say we go ahead and set it up. We're going to go ahead and launch a sim racing game. I'm going to give you guys some gameplay to kind of show you what this bad boy is capable of and overall how it feels. So stick with me, let's jump right into it, and at the end of this video I'll give you guys my overall thoughts and review. Let's go.
Let it drop, never stop, 'cause we gonna hit the club.
Well guys, it looks like it's that time of the video to give you guys my overall thoughts and opinion and review of using the C5 now for the last few weeks now. If you guys cannot tell already, I'm definitely impressed again with the price that it's coming in at. It definitely helps the market as far as the competition between all the other wheelbases and steering wheel and sim racing equipment out there. It's coming in at an affordable price, again at 5 Newton meters, a direct drive steering steering wheel and wheelbase built in all at one, nice and small and compact. Again, we do have the built-in paddle shifters. Again, they're small, but do they work? Yes. Does it fit in the right spot location for my hands and my grip the way I have the steering wheel? Yes. Do I like using the paddle shifters? Yes. Do I like using an H pattern shifter as well? Yes, I do. So now I have both options. I have the paddle shifters at the back of the steering wheel, and I also have an H pattern shifter if I wanted to use that. Again, the nice convenience that we can go ahead and mount it to our desk. So if you don't have a full out sim racing rig cockpit and you just are gaming on a desk, for an example, or you just want to kind of get into gaming, I'm going to say that this is a great option. So as far as the display screen and the LEDs that we have at the front of the C5, I will say that is a nice option to be able to see the speed and also the different color of the LEDs. That's going to help us and to indicate when we need to go ahead and shift the vehicle that we're driving. But again, overall, I don't prefer to kind of look down at my steering wheel. I prefer to actually look at my monitor, my screen. So therefore I kind of keep my head up, look at the road, see where I need to go, and also look at the information in regards to my RPMs and when to shift. So next I wanted to talk about the build quality. I wanted to mention that overall it does seem like it's well made. It doesn't seem poorly made or cheap that it's going to fall apart. This thing is going to be able to take a beating. Again, we do have the leather wrap. Again, the back of the wheelbase is also made out of metal. They've also considered about the cooling with the built-in fan into the desk clamp, and also the carbon fiber plate at the front of the C5 and the rotary dials and all the buttons. It does feel nice. It doesn't feel cheaply made. So guys, in conclusion, I will mention that if you are interested in getting into sim racing, or you want to kind of possibly upgrade your equipment, this is going to be a good option as far as this budget goes. Again, we're going to have the wheelbase and steering wheel for this price point. For an extra $50, you can go ahead and get a set of sim racing pedals. Again, we have the desk mount because not everyone has a sim racing cockpit. That's just another expense. So if you do want to get into sim racing, or maybe you want to upgrade it to a direct drive wheelbase, this is going to be a fantastic option. I'm impressed with it. I'm definitely going to be continuing to use it. If you guys do have any comments, questions, concerns, let me know down in the comment section down below. I do appreciate you guys watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Till next time, peace.